In this video, I want to talk about my opinion of what I think the DMT entities are. And this is just based on, like, how many trips that I've had. And I don't exactly know how many trips that I've had, but I've been doing DMT since I was, like, 17 years old. And I'm 25 now. So that's, like, a good 8 years. And, like... there's been like plenty of times in my past that I've used it like consecutively, like, you know, many's of times. So I definitely would estimate the times that I've tried it to be like in the hundreds, like high hundreds. Like I was thinking, you know, it might be in the thousands, but that seems too high to me. But definitely in the hundreds, because I've had multiple trips after one another, like breakthroughs. And even like multiple times throughout the week and stuff like that. It just kind of ebbs and flows based on how busy I am and like what I'm focusing on at the moment. Like if I'm focusing on art and stuff like that, then I would do it more just to get like more inspirations and things like that. But this time I think that, you know, I haven't really been doing it just because I've been so busy with all my work and stuff like that. But anyways, I won't go into a big tangent. I want to talk about what this main video is about, and it's just what I think the entities are. And this is going to include like some realizations and like revelations that I've had. But on that same token, I can also say that I've also had illusions and like delusions and stuff like that. And these sort of come into play because like I feel like some things that I've you know, I guess you would call it like channeled from that space. I don't really know what it is. Like it could be just nonsense, but like some information seems to be very interesting. Like I've learned a lot, like even strange things about like how like psychedelics are kind of an entropy like effect on the mind, and that's something that I came up with like as a revelation. And then now there's like research saying that yeah, that's true, and like schizophrenia is a similar thing. So it's like it's really interesting about, you know, how I can try to balance some revelations that I've had with entities that I've interacted with, and then try to balance that with other revelations that I had that are actually like delusions. And I don't really want to go into what kind of delusions that I've had too much, just because it doesn't really matter at this point. I'm sure you probably can like figure it out just from like past videos that I've made. But there's definitely an element of illusion, and like I think that there is some sort of Buddhist teachings on this thing, because like I remember reading somewhere that like in like meditative states, like you go through this sort of part of it that is supposed to be I guess illusion based, or it's like it's a very weird concept. I don't exactly understand what it is, but apparently it's in Buddhism and stuff like that. I should really research it, or if anyone knows about like something that has to do with that. But I remember reading something about that. But so it definitely does seem to be a common thing for people, obviously, because like anyone that does psychedelics, you know, they'll have like genius moments and then like kind of weird, strange, delusional moments. And I think that's like, you know, the same for schizophrenia and stuff like that. So it's not a big difference or a big leap between the two. So this is what I'm sort of balancing in between what I believe the entities are. Like I'm seeing it as I've been lied to, but I've also been told the truth. So it's like it's kind of like the trickster entity. Like that is the main archetype that I would say is the DMT experience, is that it's the trickster. So it's like it's teaching you lessons, but in a very kind of very shockingly confusing way, I think. Like it doesn't really be too kind on you if you, I guess, go too deep into the rabbit hole. Like it's almost like it wants to test you. I don't know how else to explain it. It's so bizarre. Like at least my experiences with it. Like it seemed it seemed to be otherworldly, but it also seemed to be kind of something that is created in my brain, kind of, or like created in my own mind. But like it also seems sort of outside. So like maybe I would say I'm like 75% sure that it's probably some weird incarnation of my own mind, and we don't really understand consciousness, and then maybe like 20 to 25% thinking that it might be something like more than that. Like I maybe it is, I don't know. All I'm going by is that I've just had moments where I've been very foolish based on my own revelations and like delusions and things like that, and then I've had things that have been beneficial towards me based on certain revelations that I've had. So it's kind of like a, take the bad with the good, and like I don't really know what to make of that. It's not a solid good or bad thing. There's good and there's bad, and I'm assuming that some people can experience more bad versus good, and other people can experience more good versus bad. It's kind of like a roll of the dice. I don't really know how else to comprehend what it is. It's just something that's just so confusing and so out of my pay grade. I think like I don't think I'm the right person who's qualified to be able to explore these things and really get what the message is. Like I understand that there's art to be seen there, and that's what I'm sort of trying to pursue, but the fact that it's such a complicated dimension or state of mind, whatever you want to call it, I just feel like I'm less confident in my understanding of what's going on with it, and I don't exactly know what to make of it at all. It's just it's so confusing to me, and I think like a lot of my thoughts have been, from throughout my life, has been trying to integrate these experiences and try to figure out what it means and what it represents and what does it mean for reality. And like I feel like I've created this sort of dream world in my head that I keep mistaking for this world, and so it kind of gets messed up in some ways like that, and it's definitely caused me a lot of like trauma when I've had those mixes up, and like it still does to this day. Like I'm certain connections with people I've mistakenly severed just because I'm I was following weird delusions and weird fears and paranoias that I think in a certain sense I knew that these things were paranoias and delusions and things like that, but I wanted to go through the motions because I felt like that was what I needed to do. Like it was a weird sort of like kind of like expressing yourself. Like if you feel like you need to scream really loud and you're just holding something in and it's just like tearing you apart, then you have to like go through the motions. But the problem is that those motions end up bothering other people, and then they don't want to interact with you and things like that. And if that's with someone that you really sort of respect or appreciate, and that happens, it can be very traumatizing, and that's something that I have to deal with. So it's like I always have to rationalize, what I've gained versus what I've lost, because I've lost something very, very great, and it's been, on my mind constantly. Like I can never get rid of those thoughts, and like I feel like maybe one day like I can figure out why I had to go through that, why I had to experience something like that, and maybe I can, I mean, truthfully, I've built something from the trauma. Like the only reason why I have as many like talents that I do, or like develop them, higher to a higher degree, is because of that trauma and trying to do the right thing for, I guess, myself. I don't know. I felt like I was in a state where I wasn't on the right path, and I feel like ever since that trauma happened and I've lost certain connections with certain people, I feel like I want to do everything that I can to correct that mistake. And my whole life now for like 5 or 4 years has been that pursuit, just trying to heal from that trauma. And this is the only thing that I really know how to do, or what could make me sort of get out of it, you know. So and that's something that was instigated by, you know, interactions with entities and voices and things that I thought were genuine and you know, of face value, and not sort of something else, and not something confusing. You know, I ended up being very confused afterwards, and I don't know what to make of it. But I can also recognize that I'm a much more developed and evolved person now than I was before, and I'm a lot better than I was before, and I can recognize that, you know. So I it's hard for me to balance the trauma. Was the trauma worth you being someone that is something that you're proud of, you know? I don't really know. I don't really know if I can ever even feel the joy of that pride of being, you know, a valued person to society. And not saying that I really have any value to society, but I'm working on it, and I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if they're real, if they're fake. I don't know if there's anything looking out trying to, you know, make you more developed for something. Like, that's how I've always interpreted it, but you know, that's probably just a fantasy, I think. But anyways, yeah, I think that that's pretty much my thoughts on it. I don't really know what to make of it. I just thought that I might share that so that you guys can sort of relate to your own experiences and possibly come up with a better view of these things than you did before, based on what I've had to say about it. But that's about it. So I should end this video with some progress of things I've been working on, you know, why I've been so busy and not posting, and I've been working on my piano audition, but I've also been doing a lot of portrait practice, like, because I want to get better at, like, drawing just, like, realism stuff, so that I can make better artwork, obviously. And I just want to show you guys, like, some of the portraits that I've been working on. I've been trying to improve my technology, or my technique, basically with, like, deliberate practice. So each time I'm making something, I'm trying to analyze what I did wrong, and I'm trying to see if I can correct them in the next study, I would say. So that's about it. I'll leave you guys with the pictures that I made. I'll see you later.